Hi guys. I decided to do an impromptu Storytime Sunday video, and this story is called um, President with Benefits. And this story is not a Christian story at all. It's just a regular romance story because I love those too. And sometimes I'm a Christian author, and sometimes I'm an author who is a Christian. And today I'm an author who is a Christian. This story is just so fun. Um, okay, it starts off with this gr- this young girl. She's 16. Her father is a senator, and it's it's American made. Even though I'm Canadian, I find American politics really interesting. And I might do part two one day about the Canadian Prime Minister, which I probably will do one day for another Storytime Sunday. But this one is American. So this girl, her father is a senator. He works for um, he has a Senate seat in Maine, and this girl is from Maine. She's on a farm, although her father's a senator, and her mother sometimes travels with her father, but most of the time her mother stays at home. And there is this, and on the other side of the country, in Washington D.C., there is a 16-year-old boy, a 17-year-old boy who is his father is going to be president, and when these two meet, oh my gosh, there's one day where this the the Washington the president from Washington meets not president, but the because his father gets elected. So the president elect from Washington meets the senator from Maine, and they have dinner together. Um, and then the son and the daughter meet, but when they meet, it's like clashing because she's from small town Maine. Like she, she's into farming and all that stuff, and she's into very small town. And he's like in like Washington D.C., very big political city, and they can't stand each other. Their parents almost have to. He thinks she's too backward, um, and and she
Call from unknown name. Call from.
hello mom, I'm gonna have to call you back. Hello,
Yeah, highway. What are you doing?
good, I'm gonna have to call you back though.
Okay, do that then. Okay, God bless. Love
Don't
you. Bye bye. Bye.
don't don't call me until I call you back.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Sorry, that was my mom. So as I was saying, these two people just can't stand each other. So, because he thinks she's too backward and too small town, and he and and she thinks he's too uppity and too kind of too arrogant, and he is arrogant, very arrogant, very full of himself. So his father gets elected president. Um, his father wins the presidential race, and what happens is um, he um, so because her father is the senator of Maine. Uh, they they have to meet from time to time, like at political functions and stuff. And every time you would think when they get older, it's really like it really gets better, but as they get older, it gets worse. And then when um he's about 18 and she's about 18. They're both the same age. Um, his friends kind of um, tease him about being being a virgin, and he's like, I've got to get rid of this. This thing is driving me crazy. It's like a noose around my neck. Um, and all my friends are teasing me about it. So and and um she said, and anyway, they're at like kind of a teen political thing going on where all the teen political teen uh like teenager it's a rally for all the sons and daughters who are teenagers of political figures, whether you're a senator or president or something political. So they're at this party and um, they're uh, so and they play kind of spin the bottle, and then keep in mind that these people hate each other. They can't stand each other. But when they kiss, it's magic. So, um, saying that, like, so when they kiss in the spin the bottle game, it's like magic. It blows them both away. And they're both kind of upset that this is happening. And so, um, uh, and so they think about that kiss over and over again. And the next time he comes back to Maine with his dad, he's about 19. He try he tried to lose his virginity to different women, but it just didn't work. He he kept thinking he kept thinking about her, and she kept thinking about him. And it just like every time he would try to kiss another girl, he kissed a few girls, but it just wasn't the same and it didn't go any further. So he ended up at 20 still being a virgin. And he's like, you know what, the next time I go with my dad to Maine, I've got to see her. Because this thing is just bothering me. So the next time they see each other, like I said, they're about 20. And and they see each other in her hometown, and they're again going at each other's throats, and um, something happens. He they have their typical stupid arguments at the same t- like at the same table that they've been having stupid little arguments for years. Um, and he chases her upstairs, and he chases her into her bedroom, and no, he chases her to her bedroom door, and then she slams the door, and then but then he bursts right in, and then he says, and he says, "Why do you?" She says, "Why do you keep on irritating me so?" What? And they start having a shouting match again. Like they start continuing this shouting match, and she just she just gets so frustrated with him over the years and years of belittling her, not belittling her, but the years and years of fighting. She just has it, ha- had it, and she slaps him right across the face, and he just pull, he just um he just tries to hold her still, and she's just, oh, you get me so frustrated. And then to shut her up, he kisses her again. And then what happens? He kisses her, and one thing leads to another, and one thing leads to another. They end up sleeping together for the first time, losing their virginity to each other. And it's not a loving kind of thing. It's not rape or anything. It's just not anything to do with love. This is all just sex. And when it's all over and the sex is explosive, it's just so good, so passionate, and it's like all their anger over the years came out in their bedroom activities. And then when they're done doing whatever they're doing, um, they turn away from each other and say, "Let's not do that again." But a few months later, they end up doing the same thing, and then a few months later, they do the same thing. They do the same thing, and it's just like, um, and they say, and then they both agree, you know what? We hate each other, but I love sleeping with you. He says, they say the same thing. They're like, let's just see where this goes, and if we get tired of each other, we get tired of each other. When we're sleeping together, we're not fighting. And they're like, okay. They're like, okay. So um so his it's his father's, so they kind of start having an affair. Um, but so it's his father goes through his first term with flying colors, and wins his second term. And about 6 months into the first year of his second term, um, his father gets shot. And then when his father gets shot, um, it's not only the fact that his father gets killed, but the vice president gets killed as well. And like it, the vice president was his running mate. So the question is, who's going to take over um, the presidency now that the president and vice president are both killed? Because what happened? Um, a staff member that was trusted, I think the president's chief of staff um, was was working with the opposition and snuck in a bomb, was working together with the opposition to sneak in a bomb under the president's car. So that's what happened. So uh, he snuck in. He got someone to sneak in a bomb, and then when the president got into his limousine, and the vice president got into his limousine, um, and they both turned, and the drivers turned the key. Both the cars blew up, like, and both the president and vice president were killed. It was the biggest assassination in US history. Not only the president, but the vice president. It- and it's a huge political mess. And then there's an investigation as to who did it. They can't find out who did it. And the bigger and one of the other questions too, among the slew of questions about who did it, was who is now going to take over the president position. So now the young man who's been sleeping with uh, the senator's daughter from Maine for now about 5 years. He's like 21 or 22, but he's very smart politically. Uh, his father was beloved, but his father taught him everything he knew. Um, and not only that, he had a keen interest in how the country ran, how the Senate ran, and he had new ideas of how to engage people. And he fought with his father all the time to do that, to change, because his father was beloved by people, but his father at the same time was very old school. And because his father was very old school, he wouldn't listen to him. But now the president and vice president are gone, and there's a huge investigation going on as to what happened. How was this able to happen with all the security? How was it able to, like, you know, a huge investigation? So um, there was a huge meeting about who's going to run the country while they can uh, d- while they put together a new election, who's going to run the country. So he says, well, my father wanted me to do it, and I could do it. And these these old people, the old guard, kind of laugh at him because he loves politics, but he's not the most serious person. Um, and he's rumored to slept with women, to be a drinker. Although nobody knows this, but he's been sleeping with the same woman for about 5 years. The woman he lost his virginity to, and um, but there are no other really good candidates. Nobody else like really wants to take it over. So so um he said, um the chief of staff says, the new chief of staff says, okay, um it'll it's going to be only until the people can vote on who they want. So he steps into office, and when he steps into office, oh my gosh, you see a whole shitstorm of stuff happening. And it's just a lot of stuff begins to happen. But he handles it so well. He handles it so well. And his ideas for reform and stuff are so um good, and the people just love him. He's ahead in the polls, and and the people love him so much uh, that that um, about 80% of the people said, "Why have an election? Why not just let him finish out his father's term?" And then and they're like, well, we've never done that before, but we need to put it into a vote. Uh, and then the people are like, and people just write letters upon letters upon letters saying, we don't want to vote. We just want to keep him in office. Um, and, um, and a bill goes to Congress and the bill gets passed. And that, not a bill, but like it's agreed upon that he is now the acting president. And then when he becomes the permanent acting president by the voice of the people, because they didn't want to vote for other people. The country had been through enough upheaval that they didn't want to vote for, they didn't want an election, they didn't want to vote, and uh, he was doing the best job. He was um, the infrastructure, and he had ideas, and he would boost the morale of senators. And he was very communicative. He was a brilliant uh, strategist and a brilliant president. And while this was going on, it's a relationship between uh, the country girl and the now president continued. And by letters and stuff became by the polls became president. Um, uh, she people were saying you need to choose a wife. It's not. He said it's not what.
Call from unknown name.
Hello, mom. I'll call you back. Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye.
Okay. Don't call me until I call you. Sorry, guys. That's my mom. Uh, so after he became president, uh, his chief of staff said, "Well, it's you need to choose a wife. The people want to see you with someone and whatever." And so, um, the um, Operation Find First Lady um, can starts. Um, there's a whole TV thing called Operation Find First Lady, where he goes on uh, political. He goes on dates and none of them work out, and it's all this kind of funny thing. And he's lying in bed with his uh, lover of now like 7 years to say, "Hey, would you like to be my first lady?" And she says, "Absolutely not. I don't want that kind of responsibility." He's like, "Please, you're smart, and over time he convinced her because they've been sleeping together for almost 10 years at this point, 7 or 8 years, and he says, "You have such wonderful ideas." So um so they ag- they agree to date publicly, and then after a few months they get married, and at the same time uh he is he is uh running the country and doing it beautifully, and the way uh and but with her, she comes from a small town in Maine. So for her, uh, she's a little bit awkward, and the media is harsh on her. Um, the media is really harsh on her. The scrutiny is real tough on her, but she powers through and um just becomes a star. She makes her mistakes at a political dinner, and she does all of that stuff. But through it all, as she's learning, she's growing into the job, and people are beginning to like her because although she was a senator's daughter before be, before she became acting first lady, she uh, was on a farm. She worked on a farm. She lived in a small town in Maine, so she knows what all that's about. And she's a first lady of the people, just really loves people and really makes the gaffes that we all make and really brings a human face to the presidency. So she has a rocky start, like um, her first couple political dinners are disasters, but she finds her stride, and it's just amazing. She becomes an amazing first lady. a beloved first lady. And then um so she had um a few months in into her reign as first lady, um she becomes pregnant. they they have a wedding, and she becomes uh pregnant soon after that, so they have their first child. And when their first child is about 2, she feels a lump in her breast. And and he's about almost 40 at this point, about, like, I would say about 26, or uh about almost 30 at this point, about 25. He's about 25 at this point, and she feels a lump in her breast, and she tries to ignore it, but he, they're they're making love one time, and he begins to feel her breast, in the course of sex, and he says, "What is that?" He says, she says, "What is what?" And he says, "What is that lump?" And she's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's just something with my period. I get them all the time." And he's like, "Are you sure? It feels kind of strange. We've we've been sleeping together for years, and I've never felt that from you." He's like, she's like, "I'm fine." And he's like, "I'd feel better if you'd go and check it out just to be safe." And she's like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And then she goes to the doctor all the time, thinking this is ridiculous. Because now she's,
Call from unknown name.
"Mom, sorry, I can't talk to you right now.
Okay, okay, call me back, okay?
Don't call me unless I call you."
Okay, I'll do that. Okay,
Okay,
okay, bye. Bye.
bye. Sorry, it's my mom again. So she is, so she goes to the doctor, and it turns out that it is a lump, and it is stage 2 breast cancer. And then when she gets diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, she 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 can't believe it. Here she is, barely 26, just got married with with a newborn son, and she's dealing with stage 2 breast cancer. And although it's stage 2, it's a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And it, like, this, and she's extremely open. And the old guard says, "Let's keep it a secret for as long as possible. It's only stage 2, so maybe we could get rid of it and people not know. We could just say that you were were sick in a way, and were away on a trip or whatever." And she says, "No, She says, no, I want to be open with people about my breast cancer. It's like, okay, okay, well, tell people that you have breast cancer and you're getting treatment. She said, no, no, no. He says, I want to help people really with this thing. I want my journey as the first lady to help people with this thing. And just telling them I have cancer, that I'm getting treatment doesn't help them. People get cancer every day. And just telling them that the first lady has cancer and is getting treatment, he, she's like, no, I want to document my journey with cancer. Like, I want to document my journey with cancer. I want to document it publicly on YouTube and other social media platforms. I want to invite people to see my journey, to see the pain, to see the triumph, to see everything. Because I want this to be a teaching moment for women and for men and for the entire country. And people on her staff are like, really a teaching moment? And they think she's nuts, but they're like, okay. And because, like, so she makes her first YouTube video with the announcement that she has cancer and that she's going for this kind of treatment, and she invites cameras in when she's sick. She invites cameras in um when it's working. There are times when it works and when it doesn't, and it just flip flops over. And then you see the love story between this relationship. You see them, the strongness of this relationship, how they are strong, and how he starts to fall, how how their love just grows through this and through the ups and downs, through when treatments work and through when they don't. And keep in mind, he's running a country, and and in the background, they're still doing an investigation as to on who did their who killed his father, who set the bombs. Still, there's that investigation, and then there's cancer and the treatments and the pain and the triumph and the sorrow. So after all this, she's okay, but um, it comes back a few times, but she beats it every time. And then you see this couple's bond, how it's so together, and the days where he can't take it, and he just, as the president, he's crying, and he's vulnerable and she's vulnerable. Days where they can't stand each other because they're so frustrated because the treatment's not working, or they can't find out who killed his dad and the vice president. You see that all of this strengthen their relationship. So what started off as just a president with benefits is just a, a strong relationship now, and it just ministers and helps the whole country. And after going through cancer, she she is she spearheads treatments on this particular form of cancer. and she creates educational resources. And it's a beautiful love story. So thank you guys for being with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.